Beautiful. Thank you all for waiting. We are going to go ahead and get started. This meeting is also being recorded, just so you all know, and then we can share it out with folks who aren't able to join today. But I am going to take a back seat to this presentation. Staci from Manage My Market is here. She is the very knowledgeable steward of Manage My Market for the Agricultural Institute of Marin, as well as many other nonprofit organizations that run farmers markets. So she will be leading this meeting today and going through how to set up your renewal application, all things accounting, permitting, and then there will be plenty of time for Q&A as well at the end. So Staci, with that, I will hand it off to you.
Thanks so much, Darien. Again, my name is Staci DeShasier. If that name sounds familiar, or my face looks familiar, it could be because I also run markets. I wear another hat with Contra Costa certified farmers markets and run markets here in the Bay Area. But in addition to that, I've been working for Manage My Market for the past 6 years or so, 7 years almost now. And now I work with other market operators to teach them how to use the program. I'd like to start with just thanking you for being here. Thank you for investing your time to be here live. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video if you're watching this on a record. I think, I hope that this is going to be really helpful because Manage My Market is not just a tool for market operators. It's also a tool for producers and their business. And we want you to get the full value out of your time that you take to fill out a profile so that your business can benefit from that. So we're going to cover some how-tos today, but I'm going to start with the vendor profile. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and then I'm going to share my screen. Darien, is it okay if they drop any questions in the chat? Will you be monitoring?
Yes, please do. I will be checking out the chat this whole time. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then we'll also have time at the end for you to come off of mute and ask them live.
Great. So I'm going to start with my vendor profile here. It's just called Staci's Farm. So when you're brand new to Manage My Market, meaning if you've never created a profile before, you're going to come right here to the home page. And you're going to start by clicking register. There's a couple different places where you can click it. Up here in the corner, real big, it says register. And it'll ask you, am I a vendor or am I a market manager? Same thing down here. So we just give you a couple of areas where you can click it. So you're going to select I'm a vendor to get the process started with creating your profile. Many of you may already have profiles set up in Manage My Market. And I have one here. This is, again, just called Staci's Farm. It's just a fictitious vendor account. I can hardly grow tomatoes once a year, so no farmer for sure. You're going to start with just basic things in your profile. When you're starting your profile, it's going to prompt you along. Oh, it locked me out. It's okay. Here we go. So obviously the name of your business, a good email, mobile phone number, you're established. This is all kind of basic stuff, pretty self-explanatory. The brief company description I want you to think about, and if you've already created your profile, it's worthwhile to log into Manage My Market and see what you wrote here. Because what you provide in your brief company description, it's almost like your little mini elevator pitch to your market manager, so any markets that you're applying to, as well as to customers. Because this brief company description is going to appear on AIM's website via their map, via a vendor list. This is how they're promoting you to the public so that customers can connect with you even outside of a live market space. So for example, I'm just gonna expand this map here. And I'm gonna type in Life Good Gardens. If you're on the call, thank you for letting me use you as an example. Good. See. Oh, maybe they're not in this market.
It's Life Food,
Oh,
not
Life Food. I wrote it down wrong. Life. There it is. Thanks,
yes.
Darien.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, this is the description they've given. And this is a good example because they say what they do. It's not too long, it's not too short. So you don't want to just put one sentence. Like this is, excuse me, this here is actually like a pretty bad example. Farm fresh veggies and fruits, fresh from us to you. You know, it doesn't really capture my attention, right? So this is a pretty good description here. It says what they grow, what they're focused on. It's also a good idea to include a little history about your farm because farmers markets are more than just buying food, right? They're about relationships. So here, Jacopi has talked a little bit about their history of their farm. Okay. So it's a little bit longer, but it's a little bit more captivating too. So I wouldn't go any longer than this. You can kind of see visually what it's going to look like to your customers. You know, people want a quick read. But you know, go ahead and share a little bit about your story and you know, who you are, what you grow, and why you grow it. So just be aware that what you put in this box will be public facing. Okay. Other things that are public facing is your website. Make sure that you are following the prompts that are shown here. So in this example, I'm including the HTTPS, okay? You want to follow these examples of how to format it just to overcome any problems with the links because it's great to have your website listed again, you know, here, but we want that link to also work, right? So the links that you put in your vendor profile here for your website, your X, your Facebook, um, Instagram, those will appear on your vendor profile as a public facing thing. If you don't have X or Twitter, still feels weird to call it X. Just leave it blank and then it won't appear here. Okay, you won't even get an icon for it. Um, this one here for Pinterest, I don't know if people are still using that as much. Feel free to leave that blank if you're not using it as well. So just be mindful that things are formatting correctly and be nosy. You know, go to AIM's website and look at your profile there and see how it's being displayed. Click on your links, right? It's your business. We want to drive as much traffic to it as possible. So go here, poke around. If something doesn't look right, your logo's not showing correctly, or your links aren't working, you can reach out to Darien. You can also email Manage My Market direct. There's a problem with your profile. So let me show you how to access customer support. From your vendor profile, you can go down here to contact, and that's going to give you like all of your market managers' contact information. Okay. But down here at the bottom, it says for technical support, go here. So if something's not displaying correctly, you feel free to just reach out to Manage My Market Direct as well. So beyond our name and business owners and this basic information, we're also going to want to include our contacts. This helps the market manager. So contacts are anyone in the business that your market manager might want to get in touch with. So this could be an emergency contact. This could be folks that are going to be staffing your booth, which you can then later assign as staff. Because sometimes, you know, if you're scaling, it might not be you at the market, and this kind of allows the market manager to potentially connect with your staff via email if they need to. So like if they're sending their weekly email and there's information about something with the market that you want everyone to know, make sure that you are adding contacts here so that they can be added staff at different markets. Addresses. You're going to have your physical address and then your mailing address. At times, those might be the same thing, and that's okay. There's a box for that. And then over here, I was looking for it, but my Zoom window was covering it. This is your logo. I really encourage you to upload a logo or even a photo of your booth. It doesn't have to be a logo. It could be a picture of a strawberry, or it could be a picture of a jar of jam. Whatever's going to represent your business you think the best, go ahead and put there. For some, it's a logo. For others, it's a photograph. It's going to show up again on AIM's website here. So that's why we want to make sure that you have something uploaded here. Trying to find an example of someone that doesn't have one. Here we go. So as you can see here, this is a profile of someone who didn't upload a logo. Your information will still display, but it's not as eye-catching. Okay. Any questions about the profile or the map? Darien, just let me know if there's any in the chat. I just wanted to pause and give you guys an opportunity to drop any questions, particularly about the profile in the chat, if you'd like to. Nope. Okay. The other thing about the profile is that it's going to ask you if you are certified naturally grown. I don't see that a lot in California, but that is a designation. If you are a certified naturally grown farm, you can check that box, and there's an icon for that on the map. When it comes to organic, that is tied to your products. And so we'll talk about that a little bit more, because I know farmers can have organic products and conventional products if there's maybe two different parcels kind of thing. So just to kind of show you, I'm going to click back and forth. If I go here, these are little things that you might see. So for example, grows organic products is a star, sells organic products is like this little tag, and then this one is for certified naturally grown products. So just make sure that that's also up to date, right? So it could be that you are certified organic and then you let it go, right? That's okay. Just make sure that you're updating your Manage My Market profile so that that information is correct with AIM, and so your customers are getting the right message as well. Ooh, excuse me. Clicked on the wrong thing here. So let's talk about products. In order to apply to a market, you have to add at least one product. If you guys have already filled out a profile and applied to a market, you already know that. I know that, farmers in particular will have a certified producer certificate. That's going to be uploaded under licenses, which I will show you, but that doesn't negate adding products. It's really important to add all your products, and I know that can be a little tedious if you're a farm that grows a lot of different things, but you only have to do it one time. That's the good news, right? So once you've added all your products, it's always there. It's saved. You just log in. You can remove things, if the rainbow chart isn't working out, or if you didn't plant pumpkins this year, or if you want to add some things, maybe you're growing guavas now. You just add them. So take the time to make sure that your product list is complete. That's really going to help AIM understand what you're bringing to market. And so to add a product, you're going to come here and you're going to say add product. Now, everything is already in a category. So you're just you can use this little quick type. I don't know why I always pick apples, but I do. I'm going to do peaches this time. I always pick apples. Oh, I already have peaches. Okay. Why am I drawing a blank? Blue outs. There we go. So maybe I've got blue outs. You don't have to list all the different varieties of blue outs. I don't know what they are, but I have a feeling there's several. you can just simply say, I have 4 different kinds of pluouts. Okay. Tomatoes would probably have been a better example. Um, so that can be helpful. So it's kind of up to you how you want to display that information to your market manager. Like, let's say you have, let's just take tomatoes for an example. I could say I have tomatoes and I have 3 varieties of tomatoes. And then I could say I have heirlooms and I have 6 varieties of heirlooms. So you can kind of parse it out how you would like to. The idea is just be as complete as possible. Here, you're also going to say the months that you carry those items. And we know this changes, right? But you can make kind of your best guess, right? So probably June, July, August, probably not September for that. And then you can add a little information here that your market manager will see, like we have the best pluouts in California, or we have a variety of pluout that's unique. Whatever you want to say here, you can include so that that can stand out. It's really, really helpful to add a photo if you have a photo. So again, just trying to take the time to make sure that your profile is as complete as possible. Again, you'll have to do it once. And then if it's organic, you're going to check this product is certified organic. Okay. Now let's say you're a farmer with a long CPC. I'm not going to hit submit here. I'm actually going to just say add more products, and I can keep bulk adding all the products that I want until I'm done. And then I can hit submit. Okay. Now you're going to have at least one product when you apply. After you apply, you might want to add more products. Maybe you make tacos and you applied with tacos, but now you make birria tacos. And so you want to add that to your list. Or maybe you make tamales and you want to add tamales to your list, or agua frescas. You can add products after you have already applied to a market. Okay. And it will come in to your market manager as a request. So here I've added the pluouts. Okay. And I'm going to hop on over to the My Markets tab because I didn't have those when I applied to the Friendly Market. Okay. So I'm going to click on products, and here it's going to tell me what's approved and what's not approved. So when I added that pluout to my list, the market manager automatically got an email that you added a product. So they're notified. So as soon as I added the pluouts, let's just say it's Darien, Darien would get an email that says, hey, Staci's Farms added pluouts. Do you want to approve that or not? Until it's approved, it won't show up on this list, right? So because it's new. And sometimes that process takes overnight so that all the market managers, this is the way the server works, so that all the market managers can be notified. So you can add products throughout the day. So feel free to add products. What you don't want to do is be bringing products to market that your manager doesn't know about. So if you want to add products throughout the season, make sure you do so, and just know that that will come in as a request, and that will be up to the market manager to approve. Any questions about adding products in the chat or elsewhere?
Nothing in the chat, but I do just want to add, and Stacey, I'm not sure if you can bring up Contra Costa's website, because AIM isn't doing this yet, but we plan to be rolling out the market directory that is searchable by products. So I just
Yes.
want to emphasize the importance of adding all of your products to that, because at some point in the very near future, our shoppers will be able to go onto the website and search for tomatoes, and then all of the people who have tomatoes as a product on their profile will show up as a seller, which Stacy will show you right now.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Darien. So this is CCCFM's website. As you can see, there's a map similar to what AIM has on their website. And then there's also these other links. There's market producers, which is just a directory here of vendor names, and you can view dates. Let me go back. We want to see. So if we go to product search here, there it is again. It's just in my brain. Apples. We all do it. I know we do. It's also the organization's logo. So there's that too. So then here, all the growers that have apples pop up on this directory. Okay, so you can see here we have Devoto because they have apples. So that's another reason so it'll have this little like shadow of a pear if you don't upload a logo or a photo of your booth. So you want to have something like this with Michelle at Rainbow, right? If you rely on your CPC and you don't upload and you don't say you have apples, then you won't come up on the search. So if you've got a customer who's looking to make 15 apple pies and they want to give you a heads up, they're going to need a lot of apples, you won't come up on the search for them to contact you. Okay. Another good point, Darien, on why it's really important to upload each individual product. Products are also tied to licenses. So as I'm sure everyone on this call can appreciate, there's a lot of various permits and licensing that is required when you participate in farmers markets. And it's not really by vendor type, right? So for instance, a farmer could make salsa. They're still a farmer, but also a non-agricultural producer could also make salsa, right? On the other side of the market. So for that reason, the licenses that are required are actually tied to your products. So that's another reason why it's really important to have an accurate portrayal of your products, because you might have something that requires a canning license or some other kind of special license that AIM's not aware. So I'm going to hop on over here to licenses. And this is where you're going to upload your certified producer certificate, your insurance, general liability, product liability, auto, and work comp if applicable. This is where you're going to upload your maybe a commercial kitchen permit, everything, right, that you're sharing with AIM as far as your paperwork is concerned. Each market that you're in, because, and I'm sorry, I really should have mentioned this at the very beginning. Manage My Market is a program that's used by many markets. So just to kind of add some clarity. So CCCFM uses it, AIM uses it, Foragers uses it. There's a lot of markets in the Bay Area now using Manage My Market. So all the markets that you're in, if you're obviously you're in AIM's market if you're here, but other market organizations are also going to display here. Okay, so like here are the licenses that CCCFM is requiring. All right. Here are the licenses that the Eastern market is requiring. I don't think Staci's Farm is in AIM. Maybe I should have applied, but it doesn't really matter. Here's the light. This is just my pretend organization, right? So sometimes organizations might ask for a booth photo. Whatever they're asking for here, the kind of the rule of thumb is if it appears here, they're looking for it, right? Because they can mark it not applicable to you. So if you've uploaded agricultural products, this certified producer certificate is going to appear for you. If you haven't, it won't. Just came across an example the other day. I'm trying to think of what it was. Somebody wanted to do chocolate covered strawberries and they uploaded strawberries as their not uploaded, but they added strawberries as their product. So the CPC was coming up for them, but they don't really need a CPC because they're doing chocolate covered strawberries, right? So again, we want to be as specific as possible because there's a big difference in California between chocolate covered strawberries and strawberries. Maybe one that we can only appreciate that live here in California in this business. So this is also where you're going to want to upload your general liability certificate. Each of the market organizations will kind of be in their own square. Okay. Now it kind of begs the question, why do I have to upload my CPC for AIM, for CCCFM, for Forge, for all these different market organizations? And The answer is just it's very difficult to streamline because different organizations ask for different things. So, for example, your insurance for AIM doesn't do anything for CCCFM, right? So also it's hyper local. Your health department may not be like Contra Costa County's health department, so um, that's why every organization is going to have their own set of requirements, and you're going to have to upload your licenses to each individual organization. It's very difficult for organizations to manage this paperwork load. So do your market manager a solid and upload these documents and keep them current. The thing that's really cool about Manage My Market is that it's going to notify you when that license is getting ready to expire. So about 30 days before your license expires, you're going to get a message from Manage My Market that says, hey, your license is about to expire. Please upload the new one. Just before you get busy, take a beat, log in, get it uploaded, and then it's done. Otherwise, Manage My Market is going to continue to bother you. You're probably going to mark it as spam at some point, and then you're not going to see messages that are really, really important. So keeping your paperwork up to date, it helps market organizations also keep their administrative costs low. So, really work on just trying to keep this stuff up to date because it really is challenging because they expire at all different times and all different producers need all different kinds of licenses. So you can imagine how many different licenses go into this. So you'll get that reminder. You're going to log in, update your licenses because your license expires at the same time for all your organizations. You can just take a minute and upload it to every organization that you're in. And that way it keeps you compliant. It also keeps your market manager ready for any inspections that may come along on site. Any questions about the licensing? Let me just show you an example on how to do it. So you're just going to click edit from the side menu here. And then up here, you can just click to upload. You can also drag and drop from your desktop. And I just want you guys to know that it takes like all formats. So PDF, it's not generally a good idea to upload a Word document, but most of your licenses, it's going to be a PDF or a JPEG, right? You're just taking a photo of it. So I have done this many times where I'm just taking photos of CPCs on a box of lemons, right? That's fine. Just get it in there. And so you can upload as many attachments as you want. Better if you can try to put it into one attachment. It's just helpful. Especially if you have a CPC that's like 13 to 15 pages, try to get that into one attachment if you can. And you can just upload and delete the old one when it expires. So if you want to see it, you can just click on that little clip art and it'll show you your license. In this case, it's just an example certificate of insurance. Okay. All licenses expire. So there is this like does not expire button, but typically just go, if it doesn't have an expiration date, just go a year off of when it was issued because it's kind of like you're revisiting it. So I know like for organic registrations, it's not really called an expiration date. It's called an anniversary date. Just treat that as an expiration date so that you're always current here. And that's it on licenses.
Stacy, sorry to cut you off. Just a quick note. So our AIMS renewal application is currently open, and one of the more like current questions that we're receiving is that people are confused when they already have like an expired document on file and then trying to upload something on top of that. So I just want to make it clear, Stacy did just show everyone this, but even if there is a file uploaded under a certain line item so for example, this CPC say was expired and you're trying to upload your new CPC to it, you can just upload it to the same line item and edit the expiration date on it and it will save there.
Yes, you can have multiple attachments. So you can delete the expired one if you want to, but you can also just upload your current one and then just update the expiration date here. I haven't seen a limit on attachments.
Mhm.
Um, but what can start to happen is like they can start to run off the screen if you have too many
Mhm.
attachments. Yeah, that's why I say put it all in one PDF if you can, or in one JPEG.
Mhm.
I like Scanner Pro. I use that on my phone. There's a free version.
Mhm.
Works really well. Okay. I'm going to go down my list in order, even though it's a little bit out of order. I want to take a second to talk about duplicate accounts. So when you go to apply for AIM 2026, you're just going to log in to your existing account. Okay. Um, you there again, the whole idea is to make this easy for you. So you create one account and you just log in and use that account over and over and over again. You use it for any organizations, markets that you're in, and you're going to use it from year to year to year. If you have trouble logging into your account, there is a forgot password option where it will send you your email address. Okay. If that's not working, if you've inadvertently unsubscribed or for some other reason it's getting caught in spam, you're not getting that, just reach out to support@managemymarket.freshdesk.com. You can copy the email right here. Say, I'm having trouble accessing my account. Try to not create a new one. Because if you try to create a new one, it'll say, oh, we recognize your email address. Please log in. And then you might go, well, I have a different email, and just create a new one. It's just not a good idea because you it'll cause there's no way to merge the two vendor profiles later. So you're doing double the work. And then also it can get confusing because you may apply to AIM under one account in 2025 and then a different account in 2026. And all that history is attached to the other profile. So the goal is really just to have one profile. I just want you to know that the help is there. So if you have any trouble logging in, any kind of frustrating thing, not getting the password reset, whatever's going on, just email support. They can check on the back end. Very often they'll see, oh, you have several vendor accounts set up. It just happens. And if that's the case, if there's some that are inactive, support can delete those so that you only have the one primary. What I've seen happen quite a bit is there's two profiles and one has a connected history. Maybe you've been in Sunset Mercantile before AIM used Manage My Market, and you want to bring that over, but it's under an email address you no longer use. Support can help you with that. Okay, so try to not create a new profile if you already have one. If you're not sure if you have one, just email support, they'll look it up. You can look it up a variety of ways. Okay, I'm gonna log back in. And we're gonna talk about date changes, date change requests. But in order to do this, I actually want to first kind of show you what it's like when you apply to a market. Let me put in a Bay Area zip code. This will default to your market address. So even if you're accessing your maybe you're traveling, maybe you're in Hawaii. I think you should go to Hawaii. You should spend some time there. Take a vacation if you can. But hopefully you're not, but maybe you're on vacation and you're applying to Ames Market, right? So it will default to your business zip code. Okay. Manage My Market's an Oregon company, so it's defaulting to Oregon. I'm going to change that to the Bay Area. And what you're going to see is something more like this. Okay. I can also use this filter. There's a lot of markets here for AIM because they've got open markets and they've got their new market coming up and they just run a lot of markets. So what we're going to do is filter this to open for registration. Okay. Now we're just looking at their 2026 markets. Also, Grand Lake is still in there. And then you're going to apply now. Okay. Read everything because you're agreeing to it. So make sure you read it and ask questions if you don't understand. You're going to select your vendor type. And then I'm going to select the dates I want to come to the market. Okay, let's say I only have citrus. So I'm going to select through April. Starts to get a little dicey, maybe around the 19th. Okay. I think that's what my season's going to be for the good stuff. And this is where you're seeing those contacts I talked about adding earlier, right? So Sally Sue is going to be working my booth. So this is where I get to assign her as staff. I'm going to pick my payment plan. And then I'm going to answer these questions just to save time. I'm just going to like run through and answer them all as yes. Actually, I'm not even going to really submit this. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of questions here. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Anything that you want to tell your market manager, you can put in a note as well. I'm going to agree to the statements, and then I'm going to agree to the terms and electronically sign. When I hit submit, then it goes to AIM. Once you submit, you can't unsubmit and you can't edit your application. Okay. But don't panic if you make a mistake. It's okay. We all do it. So you would just at that point contact AIM, but there's some things you can fix on your own. So let's say I submit this application and should have actually submitted it. That's okay. Let's just say you submitted this application and then you realize, oh, I think I can go longer. I think I can go through the last week of April, right? At that point, you just can come into your dates here. After you've applied, they'll appear here and hit edit. And then I can add more dates. I mean, these dates don't line up with my imaginary scenario, but this is how you add dates, okay? You can do it a couple different ways. I can do it here from the calendar. Like I can say, hey, AIM, I meant to add these, right? Or I can do it down here from a drop down. And then you hit submit, and then AIM gets an email that says they want to add these dates, and then they can approve or deny those dates. Other things like your products, you can add new products, and you can make product requests and you can make date change requests. But if you select the wrong vendor type, like maybe I accidentally picked TFF instead of certified producer, that's something that AIM's going to have to fix on their end. So just contact your market manager and say, whoopsie, I selected the wrong vendor type. Okay. Any questions about that? Adding dates. This is a big one, right? Because when we apply, it's just a guess. You know, we're kind of guessing. And what'll happen is like, let's say you sell cherries. You know, cherries is always a wild guess. So you guess at the dates that it's going to be, but then it's earlier or later, you know, you don't want to show up to market and not have a space. You want to make sure that you have requested the date and you've been approved for it, so you've got a space to go into, right? Now you'll get an email notification that AIM approved or declined your date change request, but email these days, you know, it's tough. Google makes it really easy to unsubscribe. And so sometimes we unsubscribe inadvertently, or we unsubscribe from an email about our expired license because we're tired of being bugged, but then we don't get the other emails because we unsubscribe. That I know I've mentioned that twice because that happens a lot. So just know that you can always come here, right to your Manage My Market account. You can check the status of your application. You can make date change requests. You can see the status of those date change requests. Everything that AIM does on their side updates in your account in real time. So you don't wait for the email. If you want to know, log in and check. Okay. So that's date change requests. We talked about products. I also want to show you some resources. So if you go down here to tutorials, there's a ton of tutorials in here. We also have this little help button. This is new. So there's not a ton in here, but this is like on-screen help. You can type in a subject. You can also contact Manage My Market support very easily through the help button. These are all PDFs. So for example, requesting date changes. Okay, so like here's how to do it. Here's the tutorial on how to do it. So we're just in the process of transferring all of these to this help button. So it's going to be a while. But at some point, you'll see this disappear and we're moving more towards on-screen help. But just know these tutorials are here to help you along. Darien, is anybody reporting sales?
We do not track sales data.
Okay, that's totally fine. Even though AIM does not track sales data, if you would like to track your own sales data, you can. Okay, just know that your market manager is also going to see it. So it's not private, but tracking your sales data can be really helpful. So if you go here to account, and you select your market and the market date, you can put in your total sales here. I don't know. This will enable you to run reports later on your sales. Okay, so some markets record sales, some don't. You can self-report if you want, whether your market does it or not, but just be aware that your market will see that information. Now, this is where you would run the reports. You can also come here to pay your invoices. So if you're a monthly payer with AIM and you're expecting your invoice, but maybe you accidentally deleted it and you can't find it in the Google search, which has happened to all of us, you can come right here to account and then just scroll down to your invoices and view the invoice to make a payment and submit your payment here via credit card. Okay. So these are it's always available to you here in your Manage My Market account. I think I covered everything in my notes. So now I just want to open it up to some Q&A.
If anyone has any questions, please feel free to come off of mute or put them in the chat and we can answer them in real time. Meanwhile, I'm just going to put a short survey in the chat as well for folks to fill out, but no rush on that at all. We would like to answer your questions first and foremost, so please ask them if you have any.
And Darien, I don't know if you have this handy, but I guess I would just say don't underestimate the amount of traffic that comes to AIM site, because market sites get a lot of traffic. And I know for CCCFM, I've been very surprised to see how many click-throughs there are. That traffic is certainly there. So that's why we are encouraging you to have a complete profile as necessary, because it's free advertising for you.
Mm. Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers on hand right now, but I know that our market directory is our most visited page on our website, and that would be where you're finding all of the market participant specific information, the contact info, and then products eventually as well. And so, yeah, to Staci's point, we're just trying to make the profiles as complete as possible so people know as much about your business as possible, know where to find you, know what you're selling, all of that.
And they're accessing it on their mobile largely, right? So there's a mobile friendly, if you pull it up on your own, I really encourage you to pull up AIM's website on your own phone. Just like a customer would do. You can utilize that to navigate the map to find your own booth, and the map will actually move to your booth. So not only does it display your information, which you want to make sure is correct, it'll also like navigate you to the correct booth, especially with like these larger markets, right? Where the maps are pretty big. A lot of times someone will be there, they'll be at the market accessing the map to try to find you.
Mhm. Yeah, we are actually offering QR codes at the info booth now when people ask for maps, because we do get that question very regularly. So again, just another point to add as much info as possible. Okay, we do have a question in the chat. Is the sales data submission optional since AIM does not track the sales data? Yes, you do not have to enter any sales data if you don't want to. Stacy was just mentioning that that option is available if you want to track it for your own purposes. And AIM would be able to view that, but again, we don't do anything with it. So totally up to you. You're welcome.
And I would just encourage you, is your 2026 open now?
Yeah, our application is open now and due December 15th. So now is the time to get cracking on it if you haven't already. I'm also going to drop my personal email in the chat. If anyone has any questions about the renewal application, please feel free to send those my way if they're AIM specific. And then again, Stacy showed us multiple times how to contact Management Market if you have specific questions about trying to log in or anything that you think the tech support team needs to help you with. But we're all here to support you and make sure that the process is as smooth as possible. So please utilize us.